the BMW UFO. So last I left off, I went back in with a second coat for the top and the bottom. Got that airbrushed on and let that dry. And then I was going to put the molted camo on, but I'm going to do that later. But while I was at it, I went ahead and took some MIG here, olive grum, and went ahead and paint the outer ring. I did that about basically one light coat, and then I went back in to the second coat, so we're good to go. You can see I got some overspray. That's no big deal. You can take a cotton swab or a little bit of alcohol and get the acrylic paint off that way, or I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to go back in and shade everything. So I got to shade all the fan blades and just give it a little more realism to it. And it'll make it look like it's a good worn, not toy-like, just painted freshly new out of the factory. But anyway, once I get the shading done on it, and then we can start painting the tires, and then I got to do the I call it molted camo on there, and I'm probably going to end up using a grayish blue for the camo on there. So anyway, that's where I stand on that. So that'll probably be this weekend, so we can do some camo and try to get a lot more painting done on it, and then we can seal it and put the German Balkan cross decals on it. The demolition Sherman, the only thing I've done so far on it is I had to went ahead, just rattle can it the rest of it, finished painting where I left off, which is basically a second coat of paint. Now I'm ready to paint the tracks and do a little bit of weathering on it, and decals. But I'm going to weather it probably when I weather the UFO. It's just you can do that and then go over here and finish that, and you got a cup full of paint. It's just easier to do it all at one wax. So that's where I stand on the demolition Sherman and the UFO. What are you doing? The assistant likes to sneak in between the feet. So while paint's dry and drying, I decided to start the V1, and basically I have assembled that tank before. Basically the lower hull, which you've seen on the other E100 I've done. So this one should be a little more quicker and easier, but I did manage to get the V1 part done. This is the launcher part, and it actually went together pretty decent. I got to add a few more stuff, but I wanted to show everything before I got a little too far ahead. The first step's basically putting the V1 together. It actually that's actually a nice kit. I mean, it actually fit pretty well. The only complaint I have is little seams on the side here, but Mr. Sanding Stick took care of that, and anyway, that was a very nice kit just for that alone. Anyway, looking at this kit though, it really needs to be built in 35th. I think that would be a pretty decent size model, and you could probably do a little diorama on it too, which I even got thinking you could take like a V2 rocket and put one on there. And then what's the one with the cockpit, the Natter? I think that would look slick on an E100 hull. There's just so much you could do. You could even probably put a UFO on a launcher. Just thinking out loud here, but anyway, I think that would be pretty slick. But anyway, that's a quick update. I wanted to show everyone that before I get a little too far ahead of myself here. We are starting the V1, so hopefully I'm going to try to get more of that done this week, assembly-wise, and then we'll continue on painting, which I usually try to I don't like to paint during the week. Just every time I try, something always comes up, and weekend just seems like you can just knock it out when when it's Saturday and Sunday for some reason. But anyway, that's what I've got going on today. We are building the V1, and we are continuing to paint the UFO and the demolition Sherman. So that's what I got going on today. So stay tuned for the next exciting episode.